Terrence McKenna's stoned ape theory, which I don't think is talked about enough because it's not politically correct. But I think it deserves consideration because we're closer related to mushrooms than mushrooms are to any plant. So it's basically the theory that there was an ape that took that ate a psilocibin plant, a mushroom, and then its consciousness evolved because of that. And that's a crazy fucking theory, but it makes sense in theory, right? If you gave, like, it makes me wonder, like, if I went to the zoo that you went to yesterday or whatever, and you gave one of those apes a mushroom, would it like be able to do like a 9 to 5 next week? Like, it's an interesting question, and there should be a study done about it. But this is what Terrence says. So the experimentation with many different types of food was causing a general increase in the number of random mutations being offered up to the process of natural selection. While the augmentation of visual activity, language use, and ritual activity through the use of psilocybin represented new behaviours. One of these new behaviours, language use, previously only a marginally important trait, was suddenly very useful in the context of new hunting and gathering lifestyles. Hence, psilocybin inclusion in diet shifted the parameters of human behaviour in favour of patterns of activity that promoted increasing language. Acquisition of language led to more vocabulary and expanded memory capacity. So he basically thinks how language formed from just kind of like monkey grunts was due to psilocybin. And yeah, different behaviours, different, like, the ability to have memory. I mean, it makes sense, like, when you take mushrooms for the first time, you get that kind of crazy, like, different state of your brain where you enter a new door of perception. And if you're an ape that can't even remember, like, a couple days ago, like, it's gonna just expand your consciousness. Okay, so there's that. And then there's the religious kind of view, which is basically Adam and Eve story. Now, this is something that's like hyper true, right? Because the story basically is, so Eve eats the forbidden fruit. Now, so this one fruit is responsible for, like, completely altering the human psyche into evil. That's how Peterson put it. And when you think of it, like, okay, what you consume really has an outward effect on you in the world, be it drugs, be it, like, even just like nowadays, the artificial kind of things that we're eating. Like, what's that doing to your energy that you're putting out into the world? And it comes, like, when you think about it as well, without health, like, you have nothing. Like, that's your foundation, and then that's what you build on. And they say, also going back to the evolution, isn't, like, the reason that we can see colour because of we're able to detect ripe fruit. Like, I think this theory has a lot of weight to it, about how it at least came from, I think, our brain sort of evolution at least came from something that we consumed. It being these theories have some truth in them.
So is your main line of thought that what you consume, be that food, be that psychoactive compounds, be that information, affects your consciousness, and through affecting your consciousness, it will affect how you behave, and then behaviors that are adapted are selected across time, and then that becomes the norm, that becomes your culture and your species. I think there's some truth to that for sure. I mean, like, theories like the stoned ape theory are just interesting to think about. Whether they're 100% true, the jury's still out on that for me, but they're interesting questions to ask, and sometimes the asking of a question can be as useful as finding an answer. I think your point about Adam and Eve is interesting as well. Like, that to me is a symbolic representation of human beings developing self-consciousness, because when Adam and Eve eat the forbidden fruit and they their minds become open to the concept of good and evil, they realise they're naked. They realise that they're vulnerable organisms, and that they're stricken with mortality, and that they're an animal rather than a god, rather than an angel. And that's a symbol of the human development of self-consciousness, understanding that we're vulnerable out in the world, and that we are mortal, and that we are destined to die, and that we do experience anxiety and fear and stress and all of that. And your point then, your final bit about what we consume nowadays being important, I think is so true. I mean, I really have to, like, I'm not like a completely dialed in human with my diet, of course, but there are a couple of things I put in place that if I didn't do them, my reality would be very, very different. Like, I can't do good cognitive work with much food in my stomach at all, especially not carbohydrates. Now, I'm not a member of any dietary group. I just sort of eat what feels good. Eat loads of eggs and eat loads of vegetables if I can, and eat fruits and eat a lot of yogurt because it's convenient. But like, if I ate shit, my consciousness would feel different. My reality would feel different. If I woke up in the morning, like, I could do this study on myself, but I'm not going to. If I tracked my mental health on a typical month, right? Every day gave it a score out of 10 or whatever. And then the next month, every single day when I got out of bed, I ate a packet of Haribo. Like one of them big packs, not one of the little ones, like one of them proper like jumbo packs of Star Mix. And I ate that as soon as I woke up. I reckon my scores would be very different. Because even from the morning to the evening, Jacob, my reality feels so different. After dinner, I'm sluggish, I'm stupid. I can't pin down a solid intellectual thought. I'm just mumbling through life, or maybe I'll watch a film, or listen to some music, or wash some dishes, or whatever. But there's no way I can do serious writing or thinking in that state. My body's digesting. Like, it's just, my consciousness feels different. My self feels different to the morning time when I've just got caffeine and an empty stomach and I can just go. So, yeah, what you consume massively affects your consciousness and your reality. And there is a sanctity in what you eat. And it affects a lot, I think. And yes, I make mistakes. I still eat McDonald's from time to time. I still eat sweets from time to time. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a monk. I'm not a puritanical bloke. But I notice it, man. I notice it. The brain fog from eating food is real. Do you get that?
Yeah. I don't think I get it to the extent that you get it. Like you said, you don't like eating because it makes you slow. For me, I don't.
It's so true. I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah, I think. I think I get it, but not to the extent that you get it. But I think there's. Peterson talked about how it relates to like children, and how sometimes if there's a toddler that's like misbehaving, if you give them something to eat, that will shut them up, and they'll be perfectly well behaved.